Our mission team and our mission is to have a series of conversations that will be interesting and informative to achieve better church and community relations. In particular, between church and culture, around community advocacy and justice work. Our pastor, Reverend Dr. Betty J. Tom, is a dynamic minister, and she will introduce our guest speaker, Attorney Junius Williams, I hope I said it right, a longtime resident and activist in the city of Newark. Again, I thank you all for coming. I also want to say that our guest speaker has books over there, his book. I know it's unfinished agenda. So thank you for all your assistance, and we hope that we will continue these series of conversations and hope that you will come back and have some input to those conversations. So thank you again, and my minister, Reverend Tom, thank you so much.
We're again delighted and honored to have Mr. Junius W. Williams. He is a prominent attorney, educator, musician, and advocate. As a planner and government administrator and nonprofit real estate developer, he is responsible for over 2,000 housing units and many community centers in Newark, New Jersey. Mr. Williams, who attended Amherst College and Yale Law School, was elected the youngest president of the National Bar Association in 1978 and is listed among Ebony's 100 most influential blacks in America. His singing groups, Return to the Source, has performed at grade schools, colleges, and other venues throughout the East Coast. He is currently the director of the Abbott Leadership Institute at Rutgers University in Newark, where his free Saturday morning classes attract hundreds of parents, teachers, and students in learning how to become a better advocates for public education. Again, with great honor, we welcome our guest with us today for our first community conversation, Mr. Junius Williams.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I know how it is after you've been to a nice, heartwarming service and you had some good food. You either want to go home or you want to go to sleep where you are. So I'm going to try not to put you to sleep with a whole lot of long conversation. This is quite an honor. I have been here once before, and well, actually more than once, because we spent some time here when we were celebrating the 250th anniversary of Newark. I was fortunate enough to be asked to be chairman of that committee. So of course we had to visit the first church that was a part of Newark, and it was from that first visit that I began to take notice of the history and the rich history and the great part that this church played. So that's what I want to talk about first. But let me first acknowledge Elder Jeanette Oliver, who invited me to come and stayed on me until we got it all straight. How to do that. And also, this is my first time meeting Reverend Tom. I am very impressed. I did hear part of her sermon out here while I was coming in. You had a preacher's preacher here, and that is also very good. So also, I met the first person I met coming out. I'm sorry, the first person I met when I was coming in the service was a young man that I've known for over 50 years. And over 50 years, and I know that's so because next year we are celebrating the 50th anniversary of the election of the first black mayor of Newark, Kenneth Gibson. And the man that I worked with to help him get elected was none other than John Bug. That in and of itself is a story, but John Bug, I have, in preparing for a website that we have, it's called Rise Up Newark, and I have some cards here. Those of you who might be interested in learning all about the history of Newark, I want to ask somebody to pass these out. I hope I have enough here. If not, some of y'all share. It's called Rise Up North on here, but it's Rise Up Newark. If you don't know about that, then the first thing we did was to look at Newark going all the way back to 1666, but coming on forward to the 1900s and specifically around 1960 on into 1970, there was a group called the United Brothers. And United Brothers was formed. The president of that, the head of that, was a man named Baraka. And he was Leroy Jones at that time. Now, if that name sounds familiar to you, that's because, and I may have some more in the car if people want to get one. That's because he was the father of our mayor. This was Emir Baraka. I call him Baraka the Elder. And I got a letter to join the United Brothers, which was signed by John Bug. You didn't know I had that, but it's on the website because I'm a pack rat. I keep everything. Much to my wife's chagrin, I finally gave some of it to the library, but when I was planning for that particular website, which I hope you get a chance to visit, you will see a lot of original documents going way back. John, I also have some of the documents from the first Black and Puerto Rican convention that we had in 1969, which was convened to pick the person we wanted to run for mayor in the city of Newark. During that time, when we had that convention in 1969, there must have been 300-400 people who came out, Black and Puerto Rican convention, the first one and the only one that I know of. And in it, we set forth a platform that was supposed to be used to guide our candidates in their election. So that excited a lot of people. As a matter of fact, what percentage, this is a quiz, we're going forward here, I haven't got to the history of Newark yet, but this is just a quiz. What percentage of the people do you think came out to vote in that 1970 election? This man got it. 75% turnout in an election. That is incredible. It never happened before, and it won't happen again. But that's another story. I will be talking to the Democratic Party about what they're missing when they don't have a convention as we did, because they got people excited. They got people involved. People felt like we were planning something that was really going to happen. And I'm not going to spoil the story by telling you what did happen, because I'm going to go way back to the other end to talk about what we did and what Newark did way back when in the church, the role this church played. But I want to talk about one other person who came up and introduced herself. Actually, the second time I think we met, and that's Sister Faraha Norfolk, who is taking pictures right now. But she is the grand niece of somebody that I used to work with back in the day named Willie Wright, who played a very significant role in the making of Black Newark. I won't tell you all about it. Look at that website and you see some of the things that I have to say. And if you look in my book, I got more in detail. Now the book is back there. It will be on sale for $20. I got 7, because I didn't know how many people were coming, but that's how many I had in my car. So if you want to get one, you got to run back there fast. I will sign it. But it's called Rise Up Newark. I'm sorry, that's the website. It's called Unfinished Agenda, Urban Politics in the Era of Black Power. And that's when I try to spell out the politics of black folks in this town from when I came here in 1965 on forward up to about 2015. So, what can we say about the history of Newark before that? I gave you a little history lesson then, but that's modern history. But I want to go back to when the first Europeans came to town and called this Newark, and the role that this church played in the making of that history. I'm going to read a little bit here. As the story goes, the Puritans purchased a swath of land, most in Essex County, along the Passaic River, now known as Newark, from the lineage of Lenape Indians for the sum of $750 through goods such as beer, coats, pants, bars of lead, axes, guns, pistols, gunpowder, and whiskey. So you see right off the bat, something was wrong in that equation. $750 worth of beer, axes, guns, pistols. The Indians, as they were later called, we called them more recently Native Americans, had no idea what the Europeans had in mind. You say, all right, we're going to sell you this land and we're going to get all of these little funny things that we never had before. Okay, go ahead, we sold it to you. But the concept of possession was different. Because in the case of the Native Americans, everybody had access to the land. So if you want to come here and be a part, we'll accept you. And you can work on this little piece that we gave you. Now, that little piece that they gave them was as big as all of Essex County at the time. 350 years ago, 352 years now, or what more? Yeah, 3, right. It was as big as Essex County. So as time went by, different folks in different of these little towns set up their own little way of life, and they pulled away from the mother city, which was Newark. Just think if Newark had kept all those people, what a tax base we would have now. I'm talking about Livingston, I'm talking about Montclair, I'm talking about Far Hills, all these places would have been part of greater Newark. Well, it's too late now. That train has left. Another part of that story that's interesting is the man called Robert Treat. In the book, in some of the books that I've read, they say this: they were English born, talking about the Puritans, and of English parentage. Their leader was Robert Treat, and here's the quote from the book: a remarkable man and a guiding force of the little colony during its earliest years. So you can figure out that Robert Treat was the man who came up with this offer for $750 and he carried it through. Interestingly enough, even though we name a lot of things for Robert Treat around here, he went back to Connecticut where they came from. He went back to fight the Native Americans because the Indians here were relatively peaceful. The Lynn and the Lake, they had been beat up by a lot of the other Native Americans in their federation, which was called the Algonquin Federation. That was like different tribes got together to further their own interests, because there was another one that was fiercer and bigger called the Iroquois. So there were wars, not like the wars that were visited upon them, which was to exterminate them in one way or another, including passing out poison blankets. Poison how? With diseases that the Native Americans had been like smallpox. That was a European disease. So there were skirmishes in comparison. But you found that you had to come together in order to fight back. Well, within that federation, within the Algonquin Federation, the Lenape were considered chumps. They were considered chumps. They called them women, which was not a very ingratiating term at that time. And so they didn't fight these people who came as Puritans and took this land virtually for $750. So at one point, Mr. Robert Treat went back to fight the Pequot Indians up in Connecticut. And you say, well, what were they doing up there in Connecticut anyway? And of course, they won. There's no doubt about who won this battle. There's no mystery in what was going on because the Europeans triumphed and took all of what they wanted. So why didn't they just stay up in Connecticut? Well, they had an argument. They had come over, the original people had come over maybe 40 or 50 years before, seeking freedom from the laws of England and wanting to have their church installed as they wanted to. So they built this church, and it was called the First Presbyterian Church in Connecticut. And when they disagreed with some of the politics in Connecticut, they decided to come to Newark. People had already explored this area, the Europeans. They had sent out ships and they sailed around and they came to Newark Bay and they reported mistakenly that, well, there's nobody there. But when they came ashore, they found there were people already here. What they were trying to do was to go further south, but then they said, well, if we go further south in this new land called New Jersey, we're going to be too far away from the English establishment in Connecticut. They wanted to hold on in New York. Now, the New York history was a little bit related because at first the Dutch were there, but then the Dutch and the English didn't get along, so the English folks were bigger and more fierce, so they came in and they just took New York from the Dutch. They just took it. Can you see where this is going, where the story is going? Can you see where we're going here? There's a history of this. People just see something and they just take it. And that's part of this thing we call white privilege today. But that's another story. I'm not going to go into that. But you see the roots of it. We're there. So they came to Newark. They found this bay. Nobody was there, remember, in their minds. So they came ashore, and the 40 or 50 families that came ashore had pooled their money. They had amongst them, I'm told from this book, it's called A Short History of Newark. This is kind of like the Bible, and I guess you could say I'm just kind of taking a text right here. This is the text. This is where you spell. This is by a man named Frank Urquhart. You can get this from the library if you want to hear his version of what's going on. We're going to talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But he says that they came here, they took this land, and they said, nobody said, we're going to come in. $64,000 was what they had. But they didn't even use all of that. They didn't use any of that for this so-called purchase. Now, in case you're wondering what happened to the Native Americans, well, the ones that survived from the diseases wasn't much more, like I said, from here. They were eventually pushed west, like all the other Native Americans. Some of them were pushed to the south, where Burlington is, but eventually the New Jersey legislation, in this case, they did pass a law, and they gave some of the natives who were living this, they gave them a certain amount of money. There were 2,000 of them who were here when the whites came. By 100 years later, there were only 200 left. They gave them a little money and told them to get out of town. So some of them moved up to the Ramapo Mountains, and you find the Linear Lake are there now. That's where you find some of the descendants of these people who were displaced. Some of them went west to the Midwest, and some of them went down into Oklahoma. And you remember, Oklahoma was where the Cherokee and other Native Americans were pushed along something called the Trail of Tears. All of this ties into the founding of Newark, New Jersey. Now that we got some of that background history, the Puritans established themselves as the first European power brokers in Newark. And they prided themselves on not taking the land by force or theft because of that $750. So they had this little kind of superiority complex as they went along. But yet and still, in Frank Urquhart's book, they talk about the need to have guards and an army. And it wasn't very much force, army, just a few of the men. But even in relationship to this church, there were people on duty at all times, and they had drums, which they used to summon the people in case there was a quote-unquote Indian uprising. So there's a little conflict there. These Native Americans may have been gentle, and they were not going to just take it all. So they had to worry about who was coming into the church. So they had these guards. So let's talk a little bit about the church. If you look at all of the immigrant groups that came to Newark, one of the first things they did was to build a church. That's easy to understand because in their mind, they were doing a godly thing. So they wanted to get that connection and solidify it and show their reverence and obedience to God to build churches. You look around this city and all the big old churches are a reflection of who the immigrant groups were. You find a lot of the Catholic churches, Irish. A lot of the Catholic churches, Italian. Look up there around Branchwood Park and you see that magnificent church there. One of the prettiest churches, I'm told, and one of the largest churches. Yes, the cathedral. Up there on Branchwood Park, built by the Italians, because that's where the Italians live. Up in what was called the Old First Ward, now the North Ward. You see in the Central Ward, you see some of the Catholic churches that were built by the Irish, such as where the school is. What's the school up on High Street? Up in that area. St. Benedict's. Right, Irish. That's an Irish enclave. And now you look at a lot of the Baptist churches that are around Newark, they were all bought from the Jewish people who came to Newark. And most of them still have the Hebrew words up on the top. So if you drive across Martin Luther King Boulevard, as you drive around some of the other things you see on South 10th Street, great, big, beautiful edifices to cater to the immigrant group that came in. So this was the first church of the first European power, First Presbyterian Church. Now let me see here what we can say about First Church. The first, what Frank Urquhart says, the first church, a fortress. So somebody was scared of somebody. Everybody wasn't going away easy. All right? While they were busy with their own houses, the people were also planning their church and built it as soon as possible. It stood on Broad Street, about where Bradford Place now began, nearly opposite the present First Presbyterian Church. They put on a cupola. I don't know what that means, but I think it means some kind of watchtower. In this, two men stood with loaded guns during religious services to watch for hostile Indians. There were also flankers on the side. Were flankers at two of the diagonally opposite corners. That would be over here and over here. There were also flankers and these flankers were the little towers and these flankers, they're talking about the building still, were little towers. So it must have been here and it must have been here, maybe the old church. These flankers were little towers, was that a man who watched, and one of them would look along two sides of the building, so that from the two flankers, all four sides could be watched. They were watching out. This is the fortress, like he said. Every Sunday, a fourth of all the men carried guns to church, and from these were chosen each week, one to watch for the church cupola and two others as wards, as they call it, standing in the flankers. So, no matter what, the Europeans were ruling by the gun. Even though they claimed they had a spiritual right, a spiritual basis for what they were doing, underneath it all, the Europeans were able to conquer the United States and all of the Americas, by the way. I see a lot of people here from other parts in the Americas and all of Africa. I see a lot of people here from all other places in Africa and South America and Asia. They did it with the Bible in one hand and a gun in the other. Somebody said when the Europeans came to Africa, they had the Bible. When they left, the Africans had the Bible and they had the land. True that. Throughout all the places where these folks went. So this is what is a total example here. This book was written in 1908, and it was the first course given to children in around that time in the public school. So they learned from this book what you see here. When was the next time folks learned about Newark? Somebody tell me. You know, he's a knowledge man. I bet you don't know this. No, 2019. Now, how do I know? Because I designed the course. I wrote the course based on what was in that card that I gave them. And it was accepted by the current Board of Education. So kids are now learning some of what I'm teaching you here today. Only they get the whole thing started here. So let's go on. The first church of Newark, as it was called for many years, is the oldest fully organized congregation in all of what is now New Jersey. There were a few Swedish churches on the Delaware River, which was started before that in Newark, but they were all on the Pennsylvania side of the river. There were also a few Dutch churches, but they had a short existence. The first Dutch church of Bergen, which was started several years before Newark was founded, had no regular minister and was not completely organized until many years after 1666. Newark's first church, that is the church organization, is really older than the town itself by about 20 years. I mentioned this before. But was founded in Branford, Connecticut, and when the Branford people moved to Newark, they brought with them their entire church organization, leaving very few of the church members behind. And it might be a nice little project to go to Branford, Connecticut, and see if there's any partnership possibilities so that y'all can have a historical evening to talk a little bit more about this, to see if the old first church still has some roots or some of the people stayed, but there was a split. You might want to find that out. So it goes on to talk about the church is a meeting house. First church was used on Sundays for religious purposes, but on weekdays it was a gathering place for all public assemblies. Now, you'll note that this was called, at the time of this, the Puritans, and I'm going to pause and let y'all ask questions. The Puritans believed in what's called a theocracy. A theocracy, where you have the church in charge of everything. That's what a theocracy is. So the people in the church were at the top of the totem pole. From that set of meetings, the ones they're about to talk about in here. All of the government was formed. The education was formed. All of these things, the street cleaning, the police, all of that was formed coming from those meetings in the church. Who could vote? Well, if you were not a member of the church, you could not vote. But since everybody was a member of the church, you would think they would all be willing and able to vote. But that's not true, because they changed it to only men could vote. And then they changed it a little bit later, only men with property could vote. And anybody who was a servant, don't you even think about voting. Don't even think about voting. So you may say, well, where do we come in here? I see this rainbow of people in here in this church. You better believe it was not like that then. They were white. And the men were in charge, as I just explained. What happened to the black folks? Nobody really can pinpoint when slavery first came to Newark, to Essex County, but it is somewhere before Newark was formally situated to call the town. There were black people here as slaves. Why? Because all around Newark, it was a profitable place to make money. There were trees to be cut down. There were farms to be raised. And all of that work was first done by black people. Later on, as other immigrants came and they discovered that there were many industrial kinds of things they could do, like making shoes, like making metal, like the whole industrial complex that Newark became. Newark was one of the richest towns on the East Coast because we had all these people making things. Other immigrants were coming in to fill those very difficult positions, like the Irish. If you're making something with metal, you got to be able to melt it. So they were down there in the bottom of the fountain, sweating it out, making those metal things that you needed to do. Later on, there were Italians doing that. A little bit was left for black folks to do because there was some really nasty hard work. And they were at the bottom of the bottom at all times. But as the money was being made from these farms and from these new factories that were opening up in Newark all the time, Newark was known for its hats, for shoes. I can't think of all of it. You read something here? Mills. Yeah, fabric mills. Beer. Better believe beer. At one time, Newark had about 20 breweries. 20 breweries. Now, the only one left is out there on Route 1, that's Budweiser. But why did Newark have so much success with beer? You're going to have to go. Surrounded by water, but what about the water? It was pure. Ironically, now we talk about the water, you can't drink the water because it's infected with that. But back in the day, Newark had some of the purest water coming from the west, coming down to the east. We still own property up there in the western part of the state, and the water just flows naturally down and comes to Newark. So that's why you had all these beer companies down here. The biggest group that did the biggest work with the beer were Germans. And one Swiss guy who was really prominent and making beer. So those were some of the things that happened. As a result of that, where the money was coming in, you had to build banks. That's how you got some of the biggest banks around First National State. All those old banks that used to be around before the PNCs and the other ones right now. They were formed right down near the tavern somewhere here in the center city of Newark, where some men got together and said, well, we got all this money that we're making and we got to put it somewhere. So that's where the banks were formed and the banks stayed. So I'm going to pause right now because I get a little long-winded here. But if you want to ask me some questions, I'll be glad to. Henrietta Parker's in the back there. She's going to sell my books for me. If you want to get that book, please do. But before you don't have to get it yet. You don't have to get it yet. If you want to ask some questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Hi, Mr. Williams. My name is Dr. Henry, and I work presently with Essex Legal Services here in Newark, New Jersey, and I know you're familiar with that
Yeah.
because you used to be out of that way. I'm just wondering, sir. Now, we are witnessing the great change that's happening in Newark. Where do we go for some answers as to what are we supposed to be doing, sitting by, just letting it happen? Or is there some recourse we have as citizens? Because I see a lot of homelessness about to happen here in Newark, sir. I mean, not trying to incite any type of tension, but what do you suggest?
All right, one of the things I talk about in my book, one of the things I talk about in the book, I say that the power in the suite, which is City Hall, that's S-U-I-T-E, suite, must join with the power in the street in order for us to get to the next level. You see, it was the power in the street that put the first black mayor in the first place, in City Hall. Wasn't the Democratic Party, wasn't the downtown business people, because none of them wanted to have anything to do with us. They were trying to keep us out. But because we had all these little unpredictable street organizations that came together in a coalition, that we got the politicians in, what we were not able to do is to hold them accountable. One of the ways you do that is to have an organization that continues outside of City Hall. Not only were we unable to hold the politicians accountable, but we were not able to go to the next level of power, which is the state, and to the next level above that, which is the federal government, and say to them forcefully, we need you to come in here, for example, and fix these lead pipes, the problem that we had. I appreciate what the mayor is doing. He just happened to be here at the wrong time. This is not a problem that happened overnight. So for people to jump up and down and say, you gotta fix that, that's impossible. This is not the only place this is happening. All over the country, people are gonna have to organize, and make their presence felt in the state and in the federal government, and we have not done that. So there's a whole lot that has to be done in order to make that happen, but that's a whole nother conversation. Anybody else?
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Okay, yes.
You know, as I listen to you talk about what happened in the beginning of Newark and the Indians, I'm from a little island in Georgia called Sapelo. And every time I go home, I get very, very angry. Because about 20 years ago, I saw this white person, a developer, come in and bought a piece of land from my parents, my aunt. And he bought 1 acre. And come to find out that he took the other 13 acres of my great-great-grandfather's and put it in his daughter's name. And when I go home and see these big homes that are now occupying the islands and the first inhabitants, my great-grandfathers and all my relatives have little huts. And they have these huge, humongous houses that are now taking over the island. And I'm saying this because I want to tell all of my people and everybody else that are around me, if you have relatives and if they have land, beg them not to get rid of him, because this is the way it starts. That's what I wanted to say. Because, I mean, what you just said to me earlier, it really brings back a lot of very, very bad memories, because right now I see my little island that were my ancestors are going completely.
Those were the lands, well, they are the lands that emancipated, free Africans took over at the end of the Civil War. For a while, there was a move to make sure the Africans got somewhere to go. And so these little islands were at that time the least desirable places. They were low, they were swampy, they had a lot of mosquitoes. But like her family, people built on them. They drained some of the swamp. They knew how to do that because they've been doing that for white folks all along. They knew how to grow things because their ancestors were growing things over in Africa. There would have been no rice development in the Low Country without certain people along the west coast of Africa who were specialists in growing rice. So this man was smart enough to go over and say, well, hey, we want some rice. They would pick those people for growing rice. There were others who knew how to grow cotton. So they brought those people over. Cotton was responsible for 50% of the wealth of the United States of America at one time. That's why the South wanted to hold on to slavery, because that's how the cotton was grown. That's how the rice was grown. So along those lines, you got North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama. That's the land she's talking about now. And that's because it has new value, because the upper income white people want to live near the water. Now, I don't know why they want to live near the water now. Because anybody wants to live near the water now is a fool. There's no reason why you got to do that, but the houses keep on going up in value. And to do that, they have to push the people who were there out of the way. So that's a problem, and I appreciate what you're saying. Yes, ma'am.
I'm interested in knowing what's, from your perspective, what is the greatest, biggest challenge you see in Newark? And if this has been asked, forgive me, because I've been in and out. So that we can be involved in some advocacy work here from the church. What do you think, from your perspective, would be an area or issue where the church could do some really major advocacy work around social justice here in Newark?
Well, as I said before, he just said it. As I said before, we need an organization that goes beyond City Hall, beyond city government. We need a citywide organization, countywide, statewide, and eventually a national organization. We don't have that. We lost touch with the organizational skills that are necessary after the Civil Rights Movement, after the Black Power movement, when we start putting all of our eggs in the basket of electing the first black mayor, or the first black this, the first finally, the first black president. We got all of that. We did that. But young people don't know how to organize. Young people don't know how to get mad at me when I'm saying that, but I gotta say it, because back in the day, we knew how to organize. Because we learned it from conditions, oppressive conditions, breeded the necessity for us to come together, for us to get it together, and we relied upon the folks who came before us to do that. Now there's been a break. There's been a break in the generations. The generation that came after my generation, we were fighting for them to get some of the nice things that we didn't have, and they got that. And now they see things are still not right, and so they're on Facebook thinking that's organizing. That's mobilizing. You can mobilize people and not be organized. For example, if you use Facebook and say, everybody come down to City Hall and we're going to protest and demonstrate fine. But did somebody think to take a pad and write down the name and the telephone number and the email for those people who came? No, you depend on being able to get on Facebook and get back there and again. But in the middle of that, you need some work to be done to keep people learning to know each other, finding out who's good and who's bad. We were organizing every day when I first came to Newark. There wasn't a moment when we weren't organizing. Even when we were playing, we were organizing because we bringing in people from the bars. If we go to church, you're bringing in people from the church. You're doing things all the time to increase the power that you had in your little block or whatever you had. That's what we got to do. That's what. Now, if you can start that here, God bless you. I would love to see something like that happen coming out of this church. Because that's another thing. The churches are not doing what they used to do. So this would be good. Yes.
Yes, I've been perplexed always in how it is that there's not citywide organizing, because I see so much activity happening where people are speaking out, whether it's water, whether it's housing, whether it's homelessness, whether it's rent affordability. So I do see a lot of activity, but at the same time in this city there are so many brilliant people. You have so many great universities, so many well-versed people, and so much history. Why is there not a citywide organization that already exists? And considering that you do have so many people really proactively involved, why isn't there more, as you mentioned, of a everyday occurrence of these documented activities and really bringing people together in a more organized way? I'm confused of how that could not be happening, where people are so persistently working, I think, to try and resolve so many different issues that exist. And do you have a blueprint, as you would hope God bless and this church would do that? Do you have a suggestion of how the organization should be structured that it can be very effective and you know, not really repeating the history of maybe some things that haven't not worked, and also some ways of navigating through some potential pitfalls that have hindered the progress that you mentioned, and we have an unfinished agenda.
Okay.
Thank you.
You just put up there 3 more speeches for me to give, but I will try in my best summation that I can think of in the little time that we have. Think about why that's not happening. I talk about that a little bit in the book, but my editor had to edit some of the things out, and I'm going to write something else about it. And I call it The Empire Struck Back. The Empire Struck Back. We knew how to get some things done. We were experts at the politics of confrontation by the year 1970. If I put out a call, and I didn't have Facebook, if I put out a call on the telephone and said, come on down to somewhere, because Anthony Imperiale, who's a local guy around here who was a harassment person, who was a, what's the word I want to use, a racist, terrorist type. If I put out that call, I could get people to come. You know, we could do that. And there were people I knew I could rely on, because we've been through the fire. Like the song said, been through the fire, been through the flood. Look at me, I'm still here, just by his love. Remember that? Well, we could do that. But then the people in power kind of threw us some curveballs. Okay, you want to have a black man? Go ahead and have your black man. And you're going to have, around the black man, you're going to have what I call the new black political class. And the new black political class was happy with what they got. And they got a job. They got a job. They didn't get a foothold in the economics of this city. They couldn't build nothing but a few little houses, but they couldn't even build those because the banks weren't lending them the money. So you had a distinction between the ins and the outs. The White House, the in-house and the outhouse. the field Negroes and the house Negroes. And they learn how to play upon that distinction. The people in college learn how to play upon that distinction. Now the people who were in the house, in the big house, they were kind of happy. But those of us who were still outside, we were stepped on. And we were even punished for raising the issue. But what about what we said we were going to do at that Black and Puerto Rican convention? We said we were going to do this, we said we were going to do that, and that ain't happening. So for the significant amount of time, and still today, you have black people fighting black people for that same piece of the pie. You got black people fighting brown people, you got brown and black people fighting each other. So you stay off balance. You don't have the same kind of opportunity for unity that we once did. Before that, it was very clear because it was all based on race. Now we're talking about something that's based on race and class. So that's the biggest answer. Now, when we start overcoming that, and then we begin to teach our young people that, then I think we're going to see something different. I look right now, the people who are most organized on the youth level are white kids. They're white kids, and they're doing a great job on this, raising the attention of people on this whole thing about the environment.
Climate change.
But the power structure is willing to let them do that because they're not scary. Ain't nobody scared of these little white teenagers. Like they would be scared of your teenagers. Now if you got black and brown kids raising those same issues, we are the threat that they are most afraid of, as we were back during the Civil Rights Movement. That's why things got done. So I can't tell you no more than that right now. Go ahead, ask me one more.
I just wanted to, from a historical standpoint, also you mentioned with the movement of the climate change with white children and how if blacks didn't want to do that, they'd be more concerned.
Absolutely.
But I think it's very important.
Black and brown.
Yeah, so I think it's very important, this is I caution people of color too, that it's very important that we collaboratively, where there's opportunities to work with everyone, regardless of the ethnic or racial or religious background, that wherever there's an opportunity to work in partnership or to collaborate with all people is important. And the reason why I say that is because I think back to where my mother, who was born and raised here in Newark, and she said the only thing that was a saving grace for her father when he left World War II and came and looking for a job in the city of Newark, that he would never have been able to get a job or start a business if it were not for the Jews in the city of Newark. And my mother said to this day, her father was able to buy a home and start a business and to take care of his family because he was supported by Jewish people. So all I've been trying to say is that we sometimes have to look beyond race and religion and say there are well-meaning people as well that do want to help to push forward agendas, as it has also happened in the civil rights movement.
Okay.
It was everyone.
All right, well, that's true. What you're talking about, an individual solution, that didn't happen for everybody. Your people were fortunate enough to have folks on their side, and that's good. I welcome that. However, there was a fight that I was involved in called the medical school fight. This was when I first became recognized as a leader in the staff. When the hospital is up there now, the medical school, they wanted to take 150 acres of land to put their medical school on. They were going to have a medical golf course up there, in other words. And we fought that, but the people who were in the leadership positions there were black people. We had whites helping us, and that's good. But the leadership came from the people that the power structure was afraid of. Why? Because that year before there had been a rebellion.
Do you think that's still happening today?
What?
You just mentioned that if you were organizing today.
If we were organizing today and there was leadership, then that leadership would say, come on in, fine, let's do that. But who's going to be in charge? Who's taking the risk? Who's on the front line? Who's got the most to win and the most to lose? That's what I'm talking about. Now, if you're talking about poor whites leading some things in this country, yes. But folks tried that back in the 1960s. The poor whites didn't want to work with the poor blacks. I was a part of a group that tried to do that, the Students of Democratic Society. That was what we said. It was the last chance, but to have an integrated movement. But we couldn't get the poor whites to work with the poor blacks. There's just a small handful of people who would do that. Now, if you know a way to get that done, you should be out there doing that. Yes.
Addressing what the young lady is talking about, I just came from Memphis, Tennessee, and I visited a house that was used as to house slaves during the slave. How do you remember?
Yes.
Okay. The one that, transported slaves back and forth through from using safe havens. Underground railroad. Underground railroad.
Okay.
So when we talk about people helping each other, yes, a lot of it was based on the concept of the Underground Railroad.
Yes.
So yeah, we need each other to support each other. We cannot run this race alone. No, we need everybody to interject into helping us move forward.
Yes,
That's what I'm saying.
that's true. I still maintain that what you want to do is to have leadership coming from the community that's most affected, as we did during slavery.
Can you think of right now any leadership that exists that is possibly a good connection to do that with? That's
People that
existing.
already existing in
Yeah.
Newark. Well, there's a lot of people doing some work. This young man here, I recognize him from being involved in some things. Tell us what you're doing.
Well, I'm actually a member. I actually have my own organization called Those Impact, but I've been a member of People's Organization for Progress
Yes.
for about 10 years. So Chairman Ham is still out here. Last Saturday, every Saturday out there registering people to vote and empowering people from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m.
Yes, that's a good example.
The Newark Anti-Violence Coalition still addressing violence on a day-to-day basis, doing help as far as from the West to East, we'll have trauma recovery centers everywhere. There's a lot of different people out here. I think to address as far as the focus, I think what happens is as a people, we very high-spirited people, so we're very reactionary. So what I heard from Mr. Junius is that they had a focus on the Black and Brown Convention to get this man elected. There was still people being murdered. There was still a heroin epidemic at that time, but they stayed focused on the task. And a lot of other people do what they do so they can have something that they accomplish, and then they move on to the next task. So I think what needs to happen as far as advocacy is that we have to continue to stay on our task and get that done so that people can believe in what you're doing. And then they be like, hey, task number 2. And then you gather more people. So then you can finish 3 tasks at once. So what happens today, because of social media as well, social media blows everything up. So it's like, let me jump over here. All right, let me put my energy over here. Because my cousin's suffering through this instead of the organization's mission was to do this. And we get off that mission because all the other things that's going on. So as long as we stay good and finish.
That's a good point. I hadn't thought about that. You're right. I mean, I don't spend that much time on social media, but I am on it. And I do see people doing just what you said. Now, I see a lot of people are leaving. I'm going to say one more question, and then that's going to be it. I'll be glad to come back and talk some more, but I know y'all going to have some other conversations with some other people so you can compare that up. So, yes.
Okay, I just want to know from you, before you come back, was the president of the Legal Services. And also you is involved in working with the Newark, the Essex County Legal Services.
Yes, I used to run that.
Yeah. And so now, again, what is the gender gap, not the gender gap, the gender gap?
Generation.
No, the change from black to white and white to black in the city of Newark. Gentrification.
Oh, gentrification, right.
Gentrification, yeah. How effective can we be now to keep our black people people from losing their apartments, as Dolly has mentioned to me before, because the rent's going up high, and they can't afford them to live in there now, and other things which is being affected, which black people are being affected. So how can we now
Okay.
help in that gap?
See, it's a little too late to fight that fight. That fight should have been foreseen years ago. And to fight a fight like gentrification, you need different skills. Different skills. We know how to stop police brutality. You can have a lot of demonstrations and things like that. But when we talk about economic positioning, you gotta have economic skills. You gotta have a way of pulling some money together and buying some of these lots that were out there. This Newark had both back in the 1970s and the 1980s. Newark looked like bombed out Beirut, Lebanon. All of this land was available, but the motion was coming from City Hall. Let the experience, quote unquote, which meant white people come in, buy the land, and invest. Some of it just sat on them. Some of them just sat on the lots, and now they're coming when the lots are early. If there had been a buying club, if that had been encouraged from City Hall, that's where it would have had to have come from. I tried to do some development. I was successful with what I did, but I got a lot of roadblocks thrown in my way by people who just didn't like me at City Hall. I don't want to, that's a whole nother story. All right? You know, I didn't play ball the way they wanted me to play ball, so I just got the whole kibosh on the things that I wanted to do, and I had to stop doing it. Because that's what I saw. I saw all of this land, and I'm saying, let's get some non-profits even, some for-profits. Let's get the people some experience. So if you, for example, back in the day, if you were a builder, if you were a contractor, and you had some skill, you were black contractor, brown contractor, you could build things, but you can't build big things unless you can get the bond capacity, which is like an insurance. So you can't get the big insurance if you never got a chance to do the little job. So let's start with the little job, and by now we would have had great big corporations who could claim the same position that some of the outside folks are claiming, come in and buy the land, but I'm afraid it's too late. All the land in Newark, I think, has been committed. Now, if you want to go buy some land at a higher price and you can come in at another level, that means you got to spend more money, that means you got to pay, you got to get more rent, higher rent, and that's not what we're talking about.
And just one last thing. To all you people that's having problems with your landlord, please do not get eviction on your record, because that's one of the things that will keep you from getting another apartment.
Yeah.
This society is looking into self-sufficiency, and that means the government said take care of yourself, okay? So we're putting down on welfare, we're having a lot of denials on welfare, housing are out up in the sky that you can't afford it, so please try to keep your apartment, find some employment. I mean, this is how we're going to have to protect and our own families at this stage of the game.
And that's where that big organization comes from. Well, one of the things I want you to think about when you're looking at people who running for president now, who's talking about public housing? They don't even talk about that anymore. Because you can build for quote-unquote low and moderate income people. That's what we did for people who back in the 1980s were making, $25,000 to $40,000. But there's some people who don't make that.
That's right.
And where they going to live? I'm going to tell you where they're going to live. They're going to live down there at the train station.
No,
the public
not
housing.
happening in Junker.
Well, okay. But then they just wandering around sleeping in a car in the street. So that's the point I'm making. Without organization, we can't do it. And let's go back and let's make it biblical. without vision, people perish. So we gotta have a vision. And with that vision, who's got the vision and how you gonna translate that vision into some kind of organization?